This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Friday, the first day of June in the year 2018. Here's what we're tracking tonight. With a direct threat to leverage its vote, just as the LGBT community has been encouraged to do, the Georgetown Ministers' Fellowship today called on the government to say explicitly and truthfully what is its position on homosexuality. But more urgently, the Fellowship of Ministers, which represents a wide section of the Christian community in Guyana, wants the government to intervene and put a stop to a planned Pride Parade taking place on Saturday and being organized by members of the LGBT community.
The Georgetown Ministers' Fellowship calls upon the government of Guyana today to expressly and explicitly tell the people of Guyana in writing, truthfully, what is their position on homosexuality. Do they consider it a normal lifestyle to be approved of and supported and advanced in our society, or do they consider it abnormal?
We believe also, we heard that members of the LGBT community are talking about they would leverage their votes. But we want to say that the church also reserves that right to leverage its votes as well.
The Christian leaders said if the parade goes ahead as planned, it will mark a dark day in the history of Guyana and will engrave a blemish on the social fabric of the country. On the issue of discrimination against the LGBT community, the members of the religious community said they do not believe such discrimination takes place. After declaring in a television interview that he has a young boy for every day of the week, popular member of the LGBT community and lady of the night, Otis Pearson, also known as Otisha, found himself on Friday morning before a magistrate. With lots of flamboyance and in dark shades, Otisha appeared before Magistrate Leron Daly and was charged with having sexual activity with a child below the age of 16. He was not required to enter a plea to the charge, but bail was granted in the sum of $300,000. The court was told that on the 24th of December 2017 at Station Street Kitty, Otisha engaged in sexual activity with a male child. A police investigation was triggered earlier this year following a complaint by the Child Care and Protection Agency. That agency had launched its own investigation into claims that Otisha would entice and pay young boys to engage in various sexual acts. When a photograph surfaced online with Otisha hugging up a young teenage boy, the police moved in and together with the Child Care and Protection Agency, the probe was widened. Otisha is expected back in court later this month. Still in the courts after 18 years of being underrun, an Enmore man was finally charged today over the chopping death of his neighbor. The incident took place back in the year 2000. With a blank look on his face, Ryan Bikari appeared in Vigilance Magistrate's Court and was immediately remanded to jail by Magistrate Peter Hu until June 15th. The charge stated that back in May of 2000, the accused attacked and murdered his neighbor Daniel Singh at Logwood Enmore on the east coast of Demerara. He was reportedly not happy that the man did not approve of his relationship with his daughter. The young woman was also attacked but survived. During the rampage, Bikari also butchered 3 dogs to death. Acting on information last Sunday, the police visited the home of the man's sister, where they found him hiding out. He was reportedly living in Venezuela since running from Guyana. He was not required to enter a plea to the indictable murder charge and will make his next court appearance later this month. The United States Embassy in Guyana on Friday morning handed over equipment and supplies to the Guyana Maritime Administration designed to boost port security in the country. The assistance forms part of the Caribbean Basin Security Initiative, for which the U.S. has provided over $400 million to the Caribbean in funds for training and equipment since 2010. U.S. Ambassador to Guyana Perry Holloway said the electronic items and associated supplies were purchased to support the Maritime Administration's implementation of a port security identification card program.
In August 2014, after 5 capacity building events and 4 quarterly facility visits by U.S. experts, including the U.S. Coast Guard, Guyana made a significant improvement in its overall port security performance score, increasing its performance to a score of 84% compliance in just 1 year, up from the previous score of 58% compliance.
Once the equipment is installed, Guyana will have a port facility identification card program similar to that used in the United States. Public Infrastructure Minister David Patterson pointed out that Guyana adopted the International Ship and Port Security Code in 2004 as a result of the terrorist attack in the U.S. in 2001. He said the Maritime Administration Department has been taking necessary steps to improve security standards at the various port facilities.
Persons desirous of working at the port security, as a port security officer, will be required and obviously to complete 4 modules of training. And I was told to particularly mention this. ISPS security, first aid, security communication, skills at arms. And this is particularly important and relevant now that we are expanding our maritime facilities with the advent of oil and gas shortly.
The Maritime Administration is expected to hold sensitization programs with owners and operators of the various port facilities before implementation of the new identification system. And finally this evening, opposition leader Jagdeo on Thursday rejected any settlement proposition from the State Assets Recovery Agency for the plot of land on the east coast of Enmore, where he has constructed his private seaside home. Mr. Jagdeo's comments came in light of reports that the agency was in settlement talks with at least one former government minister and other officials who had secured land in the same area below the market value. Jagdeo said he is not prepared to pay any more money for his land. And that's a News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting.